Hello, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Before I start with anything else, thanks for the previous video, guys. It's gone over 300 views in just 2 days. It's been just incredible support. Thank you very much. Welcome, man, Shreyank. Welcome as usual.
Pleasure, dude. Pleasure,
As you
as
can,
always.
as you guys can see in the background, it's all about yakshagana today. I chose this
Yes.
topic because it's very important that we talk about our heritage and our culture. I'm a novice when it comes to yakshagana. I don't, as you know, I haven't watched many yakshaganas. So I couldn't think of anyone better than Shreyank, who just goes around places to just get a glimpse of yakshagana. So yeah, let's start right away. Basic questions first. Shreyank, what is yakshagana?
It's a folk art, form. Basically, it started out as a product during the Bhakti movement. Okay, Vaishnava, especially the Vaishnava Bhakti movement, and the origins are a bit murky. But then the art form is associated with the Vijayanagara Empire of that time. Okay, so around the 15th, 16th century, we have found an inscription near Hospet, that is Vijayanagara's capital of Hampi. We have found inscription which talks about Yakshagana. And it puts on the first evidence of Yakshagana's origin. And that's why it is associated with Vijayanagara Empire and the Vaishnava Bhakti movement. And it was not limited just to the coastal regions of Karnataka, but it was associated with Vijayanagara Empire and it's all the neighboring states, including Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Kerala also. So this is where the origins kind of Yakshagana traces back to, and it's kind of evident because in 15th, 16th century it was the Tuluva dynasty that was ruling Vijayanagara Empire,
Hmm.
and the great king of Vijayanagara Empire, that is Sri Krishna Devaraya, was a Tuluva by origin, but he patronized Yakshagana too, and there's a series of evidence from his court poets who have been mentioning and writing different stories, and that is called prasangas for Yakshagana. And this is the brief brief origin. And before I say that I'm some sort of an expert or something, my knowledge may also be not as good as a professional historian or something, but if any mistake, please do forgive me. I just love this art form, and I am doing this only because of the love I have for this art form.
That's exactly why I brought you on to this
Yeah.
episode. Because I've seen you go places. I've seen you, on sleepless nights, just go around far off places. And the love
Yeah.
you have is unassuming and unadulterated, if I could say that for the art form.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
So,
an interesting
yeah.
story for that actually. So, if I'm cutting you here, but we have all heard the story of how Abhimanyu, when he was inside Subhadra's womb, Krishna told the stories, many stories, and he also told about how to enter a Chakravyuha, and he learned it just before he came out of Subhadra's womb. So, somewhat, it's dramatic if I put it in that way. But then, my dad and mom told me the story that when my mom was carrying me, she watched two or three yakshaganas. All right. So she watched two or three yakshaganas when they had come to perform in Gulbarga. So dad was posted here, and it didn't even start near Mangalore. My love for yakshagana started when I was in all the way in Gulbarga, 800 kilometers away from Mangalore. So mom was carrying, and she saw two, three yakshaganas, and from there on, uh, as soon as I was a kid, small kid, dad took me to all kind of yakshaganas that were available to see, and I used to listen to cassettes, radio cassettes with my own player, okay, Walkman, and I used to listen to different prasangas, and that's how madly I was drawn into this art form, and it is dramatic, but then that's how my journey for this for the love of this art form starts. And my own brother, he is nowhere interested in yakshagana as any sorts of ways, and that's how I feel mythology might just be stories for us today, but then some
But
evidence that keeps following, and then one thing, this small thing that happened with me.
as you were talking about, you were living in Gulbarga and how it started even before you came to Mangalore. what is its prominence in around Tulunadu especially? Because I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of prominence. So can you
Yeah.
shed a light on that?
Yeah. So regarding the origins of Yakshagana in the coastal region, that is Udupi, Mangalore, and Kasargod.
Mm.
So the story goes back like this: that Madhvacharya, the one who found the murti of Udupi Sri Krishna, we
Mm.
talk about. So his disciple, he was the first one to introduce Yakshagana into Udupi region and Mangalore region. Is what the story goes by. That is around 12th century. It's almost that old. Okay, but then the more accepted form of the truth about origins of Yakshagana in today's coastal Karnataka is because Vijayanagara, after Vijayanagara kingdom was finished, Mysore kingdom, that was Mysore Wadiyar family, they also patronized Yakshagana, and many of the kings wrote many prasangas. And from there onwards, it was adopted by the coastal Karnataka people. And the only thing that makes it even more of a coastal Karnataka thing was because we followed it hard. We followed it hard. We followed, the people started joining Yakshagana for this, for the love of the art form. It became a family tradition, and that's why it still remains as a strong art form in coastal Karnataka, because it became a profession, it became a family heritage, and that's how it has survived all these years, because of the it's almost like you inherit in the
Mm.
families, and that's how it became a hugely popular art form in our coastal Karnataka. And it plays a huge significance because um, Yakshagana is it tells you about the stories of our gods, that is mythology, and yeah, it is closely knit with our cultural ethos. Okay, so if we have any temple jatres, so Yakshagana is a perform. If there is some sort of new venture opening up, businesses take this as a harike. Harike is some sort of they
Offering.
give is an offering almost. Yeah, it's a offering that new business people or any sort of people uh, pray for the deity that they believe in, and they tell that if things go well, I will I'll make sure that I'll give a seve ata of Yakshagana. And this is how it started off, and that is why Yakshagana troops nowadays are associated with temples. Got it. So we have the Katil Durga
Mm.
Parmeshwari Yakshagana melas. Then we have Dharmasthala Yakshagana melas. Then we have Mandarti in Udupi. Then we have Peradur Mela. So all of these are associated with temples, because people started, giving this Harike Atas. Okay, this is called as Harike Ata is because they believe with the deity of the temple, and they tell that if so and so of my wishes do come true, or if these ventures start, I will make sure that I will give a Sevayata. Got it. Harikiyata it was called as. So this is how traditions continued from almost hundreds of years, and it has continued, and I hope so it will continue. Such a vibrant way itself.
I was gonna say that year after year, a lot of things come around. You know how pop music has taken over and everything. But there's a certain section of youth who are like crazy fans of Yakshagana. I've got
Yeah.
a lot of friends. I've known you are one of those as well.
Yeah.
So, is it important that this trend carries on with the youth? Going forward. Uh,
Absolutely. Like
mm.
to be honest, modernity, yes, it has its time, it has its own attraction and everything. But then there's something about traditional music,
Mm.
traditional art forms. Uh, these are something that we need to preserve, because it is not something people tell that we have inherited this from our ancestors. More of inheritance, it's us taking care of this art form for our future generation, that is our future child to share. It's not like our inherited property. We have to see it as something that we are borrowing from our future generations. So if we have that mindset, this tradition of a traditional art form will see a vibrant vibrant future also, because it's important. It is important for our one's own character development, because we have so many different morals that we can take out of these art forms, and the future generation have to see it. because if a tradition comes to an end, it doesn't signify the failure of the the art form or the tradition that is ended. It is a failure of us
But
as
yeah,
people to failure in preserving it. So you see, the music involved in yakshagana, that is the Bhagavatike, that is being, it's done in Carnatic or the Hindustani vocal or the different forms of. So each Bhagavata has its own style. So people who are interested in music are generally drawn to this because of the
I was
vibrant variety that
I was gonna say
offers.
that, a few places they just dance, few places they just music. But when it comes to
Mm.
Yakshagana, there is dance as well as music. So people who
Yeah,
like music can listen to the musical part. People who love dancing, different forms of dance, they can, get more into the dance part. And also,
yeah.
like you mentioned, how your brother didn't connect with the Yakshagana, and
Mm.
even couldn't connect it, but maybe perhaps in the future I'd connect it. But the love and
Mm.
respect I have for this guy is so much. I've seen these guys; those are so heavy. The things that they carry on, dance around,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, yeah.
amazing. It's just the love for the culture that gets them going. Believe I right.
Exactly. See, I'll tell you one thing. There are different forms of, the characters that is involved in this art form. So, okay. So there is something called as Pundu Vesha. There is something called as Raja Vesha. Then there is called as Bannada Vesha. Okay.
Mm.
Bannada Vesha is generally the Rakshasas, the big Veshas with the big kiritas on their head. On an average, they are almost tying 10 to 15 to 20 kgs, in weight of the costume that they wear. Imagine, after wearing 15 to 20 kgs of costume, you are doing the diganas. Diganas are something called as, you jump in the air and you rotate. Okay, you keep rotating. So imagine you're carrying a weight of 15 to 20 kgs extra, and then you're able to perform those diganas. It takes, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a
That's
lot of experience, and the way they do it, credits to their the standards they have set in the art form, and
and also
just
let's not
beautiful.
forget they do it night after night. It's not something you do it in daytime. It's a lot of
Exactly.
sleepless nights. It's
Yeah. The theater form is so difficult because we've seen movies. Uh, there is an option to cut, and then you can retake your dialogues or whatever. But these people, day in day out, they come in and they remember all the dialogues, and they are able to put it out in a proper way. It's not like they are putting in the local current dialect. They use the dialect which is almost proper Kannada or proper Tulu version, or you know these kind of takes, and and they all do it in one take.
Mhm.
That is
That's
extra
why
special.
massive respect to theater artists. That's why I've got a
Yeah.
lot of respect to theater artists. It's
Mm,
just
mm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going forward, do you think we can, globalize Yakshagana, show our
Yeah.
cultures? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an interesting fact because in the past 10 years, Yakshagana going abroad has become bigger and bigger trend every year. So I'll tell you how big of a trend it has become, because globally the audience is getting wider because of the Indians who have been settling around in the world. They are able to call the Yakshagana troops to perform in the foreign nations. Okay, because they'll organize, and there the audience is not just the local Indians or the Indians that are residing. It's also the people of that country who are enjoying this art form. They are attracted towards it. So I'll tell you how. So what is the stake here? So every year there is a competition that takes place between different troops of Yakshagana in one of the halls in Bangalore. And what is the competition for? On who gets selected to go on the foreign tours.
Oh,
Got it. So
amazing.
different troops will come together. They'll give in their names. So imagine 15 melas are there. They'll come in. They'll select one or two out of it to go abroad. So they'll go to US. They'll go to Europe. They'll go to Gulf countries, where Indians, especially the Kannadigas, are in high in
High
numbers.
numbers.
They'll go to London. So all these places, and there are competitions for it. So it shows that there is a healthy level of competition which is required for the persistence of the culture that
Culture,
we're
and
trying to
also
preserve.
it just shows we're sending best of our artists also. We have
Yeah,
competitions
exactly.
where we said the best of our artists represents our heritage and culture. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, now talking about, since I'm a novice and just I don't know much about Yakshagana, if you were to suggest few Yakshagana plays to the beginners,
yeah.
which one would they be?
Yeah. So in Mangalore, we all know Sri Devi Mahatme
Hmm.
Prasanga. It's one
Famous
of the
one, yeah.
most famous prasangas, and it is played very often by the Katil Sri Durga Parameshwari Yakshagana Mandali. And it's almost a 9 hour play. It's a 9 hour play, and that is one of the most famous prasangas involved in Yakshagana. So there are different prasangas. So there is Abhimanyu, this thing Kalaga also. Okay, the story is entirely about Abhimanyu and how he breaks the Chakravyuh and enters it.
Hmm.
Then there is many of the this thing are in Sri Krishna, on Sri Krishna's different stories. Let it be Parijata Kalyana, let it be Sri Krishna Leela. Then there are various forms. Okay, so I'll tell you, for a beginner to start it off with, so he can always go with Sri Devi Mahatme, because it is available widely in YouTube also. They can go in, they can type the prasanga that they require. That is
No,
Yakshagana Sri Devi
I'll also put all those links in my descriptions as
links.
well. It'll be a
Yeah,
lot
yeah, we'll
easier.
we'll
Yes,
do that in the links,
that's the
because
least to
I'll
do. Yeah.
yeah, and there are many other Yakshagana. When they see it, it involves a lot of details in the different prasangas. Okay, some are about Shiva as the mainstay character in that. There's some Vishnu as a mainstay character in that, and some with the stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So we also have Pandava Ashwamedha. Okay, so this is widely played out as the first prasanga of any troop that is starting its uh, tour for that particular year. So recently, 4 5 days back, the melas have started touring again, because of November is the time. From November to May end is the timing of them going out on tours, different tours, because they have different sevayatas. And they played different prasangas, and Pandavashwamedha is very famous. Then there is Ramayana. They play complete Ramayana. There is Chudamani. Chudamani is an of Sita Apaharana in the
Hmm.
Ashok Vatika, and
Yeah.
how Ravana tries and convinces her, and Hanuman coming in. So there are various ones, but then I will suggest them to start off with the basic ones, that is Sri Devi Mahatme. Then about this thing Parijata Kalyana. Then there is about Jambavati Kalyana. So the different prasangas that can be seen and enjoyed as for a starter.
So yeah, guys, I'll drop down all those links in my descriptions if those videos are available on YouTube. And also, this
Yeah.
brings me to a very important question that these are all related to Hindu mythologies. Why should others watch it? You got anything to say on that? As a basic question, if somebody else asks.
Uh, to be fair, there are prasangas where even Muslim characters are involved in the
Mhm.
play. For example, in Bappanadu Kshetra Matme, Bappanadu Durga Parmeshwari temple. So we have someone called as Bappa Bihari, who was responsible for the
Yes,
establishment of the temple.
temple.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
have Bappa Bihari involved in that prasanga. Then in Dharmasala Kshetra Matme, played by the Dharmasala Yakshagana Mandali, in that there is a character of Apu Sheikh. Okay, so he is a Muslim who is involved who is part of the story, and it's see. I'll tell you one thing. Uh, what's the beauty of Hindu mythology is it is not just limited to the religious aspect
Mhm.
of portrayal. Okay, so here we have morals for our life.
Right.
Okay, life. So how do we lead our life? How do we lead a life of proper character? Okay, there is a we involve a lot of family ethics. It's more of that. Okay, it's not only related to purely worshipping a certain god. That is the beauty of Hindu mythology, I believe, because it doesn't get talked about a lot. Okay, it gets misinterpreted a lot because of the stupid priestly class. Sometimes
Mhm.
they just blow it out of proportion. But then if you see it in a rational way, it's more about how you live your life. Mahabharata, for example, it involves how if you have jealousy and hatred within your family, it shows that how it can break apart entire families for generations. Got it? And this is how, it shows how do you lead a life of multiple facets, and how do you lead a successful life. It's more of that, rather than, oh, you have to be a Krishna's bhakt to be able to inherit certain way of religious lines that you lead your life on. It's nothing like that. So anyone can come in and look at the yakshagana, and it shows that you have to take away of the right morals, rather than taking off the religious sentiments all the time. There is a lot of things that you can learn from yakshagana.
Hmm. And
That
also
is
one
what
other
it is.
thing which is very, I found it very, nice is with the employment it gives to the people, the artists, the singers, the dancers, the makeup men. It's just a form of life, it pays you also. So,
It is a way of life, and that is the beauty which presents itself for them. Because generally what happens is, people who were just farmers, they also come in, and they are artists in yakshagana. And what
hmm.
they do is, in the season they'll come in and perform the art form, okay, and then when there is off season, that is the rainy season, they
Hmm.
go back to doing their regular
Good work.
farm works. So it shows that they have employment during the off season of agriculture time also. And it pays for you to be a good artist. And the recognition
Hmm.
for in today's generation is special, because we have a separate category for
Hmm.
yakshagana in Rajyotsava Prashasti. Every year some or the other one person will get the Rajyotsava award, and it has a lot of incentives for people to come forward. And the artists and their families are also looked after by the temples, because
Great.
if the temples have schools, they are the children are freely educated in that schools. I have seen it up close with a lot of when I was in Beltangadi with Dharmasala Yakshagana Mandali, and I've seen their kids being part of our schools. And I had a friend of mine whose father was a Yakshagana artist, and he was performing. So it pays off to be an artist, and
Artist as well.
it
That's
almost
great.
continues in their family lines.
So it's been great, man. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge to us, to me, and the viewers as well. And like Shreyang
Yeah,
mentioned below, not I'm sorry, Shreyang mentioned earlier, we're not professionals, so we may make mistakes when we,
yeah.
talk. We try not to be, sensitive about things, but sometimes it happens. So in case we hurt anybody's sentiments or emotions, we're sorry in advance. And also it's very important that we have an open interaction. You could always get back to us in the comment section. What are your views on the videos that we make in general, and also the topics that we choose to speak, especially Yakshagana. I guess there are a lot of fans of Yakshagana, a lot of guys who really respect it. So yeah, you can add your own opinions on that. And on that note, I'd like to end this video. Shreyank, you got to add anything before I end this?
Yeah, it's up to us to be able to let this art form thrive and be vibrant enough to go into the future, for its long future. Yeah, like I said before in the video, uh, it is something that we have not inherited from our ancestors. It's something that we have borrowed from a future generation for its survival. And that's about all I want to say about this art form. And Yakshaganam Gelge.
Yes. On that note, thanks again, as usual. So,
Pleasure.
guys, if you like a content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe again, as usual. So, yeah, man, thanks for joining. Cheers.
As always. Cheers.